Tonight, friends and family gather to remember a little boy killed in a weekend fire. Plus, we'll tell you about his father's arrest.
A new court date is set in the case against Alyssa Noble, the woman accused of killing Paige Hayes in a Leslie County car crash. We'll have more coming up next.
It's been a beautiful day across the mountains. However, with the warmer weather comes some chances of rain. We'll let you know when to expect that coming up next on Mountain News at 6.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
Tonight, we are tracking the latest developments into a deadly weekend fire. Police found one-year-old Joseph Brock dead in a house Saturday. Now police have arrested his father, Vaughn Brock, charging him with murder and arson. Neighbors told us they watched the father run out of the home but never saw the little boy. So far, police have released few details on what actually happened. Earlier, we dug a little deeper into Brock's background. He's been a wanted man since 2016 here in Perry County. He had an outstanding bench warrant for failure to appear. That's involving a public intoxication and second-degree wanton endangerment case. Specifics of that remain unclear tonight. We have requested those court documents but have not received them yet. Now, here is Brock's son, Joseph. He would have turned 2 later this month. Tonight, family members have gathered to remember the little boy. His visitation is going on now at a church in Buckhorn. Joseph's funeral is tomorrow. WYMT's Justin Case just got back to our newsroom. He talked to family members and shares how Joseph is being remembered. Justin.
Steve, we have been calling the young boy Joseph, but to his family and friends, he was known by his middle name, Cash. Rather than talk about the charges or the investigation, family members say it's more important to them to remember the love and joy Cash brought to their lives. Cash's grandmother and her fiance helped raise him. His grandmother says she will always remember the kisses he would give her and the pranks he would play on her 11-year-old son. Even though Cash's death is not her fault deep down, she says she feels guilt.
Just the thought of leaving here tonight and going home without him with me tears me all to pieces. I was going to go pick him up Wednesday, and I felt bad and was sick, and I didn't go. And I just feel like if I'd went, he would still be alive today.
Steve Cash would have been 2 years old in less than 3 weeks on Easter Sunday. Funeral services will be held for Cash tomorrow morning at 11 at Community Harvest Church in Buckhorn. Steve?
All right, Justin, thank you. A triple murder suspect refused representation from his lawyer in a Leslie County courtroom today. Paul Douglas Sizemore is accused of killing Chad, Norma, and Larry Bowling back in early December. Police say he shot the Bowling family with a rifle after allegedly threatening them while trying to rob their house. Authorities say he also tried to kill another man that day. Sizemore's request for another lawyer was denied, and here was his reaction.
So you still gonna let her be my lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Well, okay, well, we'll just go ahead and sign the death penalty on this and let's get this out of the way.
Sizemore's next court appearance has yet to be decided. Also in Leslie County Circuit Court, the case against Alyssa Noble, the woman accused of hitting and killing Paige Hayes in a crash in downtown Hyden, continues. WYMT's Taylor Upchurch has the latest from the courtroom.
For 2 years, Curtis and Louise Johnson have made trip after trip to court.
Every time we come, I feel good. I mean, as good as you can feel.
They return each time for Alyssa Noble's hearings. In 2017, police say she crashed and killed their daughter, Paige Hayes.
It's been so long that it seems like nothing has really been done, but I know it's a long process.
Toxicology reports show THC and a chemical found in Suboxone were found in Noble's system. Paige's parents say community support gives them strength.
But I feel good that the Commonwealth is doing a good job and he's doing everything that he can. Everybody involved seems like they've really went above and beyond to help us.
Noble faces murder, assault, and DUI charges in connection with the crash.
If we didn't come and show that, that we're not going to let this die, that it wouldn't have went as far as it's went.
During Wednesday's hearing, the judge granted Noble's attorneys the chance to offer more evidence. In Leslie County, Taylor Upchurch, WYMT Mountain News.
Alyssa Noble's next court date is set for May 1st at 2 p.m. Police in Corbin hope you can help them find these two. They're looking for Eddie Hoskins of Corbin and Amy Mosley of East Bernstadt. Both are facing drug and gun charges. If you know where the two might be, you should call police. Tonight we have learned when the city of Martin plans to have their second reading on a controversial annexation deal. The mayor sent a letter to Prestonsburg dated March 23rd. It says they intend to vote April 10th. That is 1 week from today. It's the only notice we've seen of a second reading. We have asked the city several times to begin notifying us of meetings, which still has not happened. The Attorney General's office ruled just last month the city violated the state's open records laws by not releasing documents on the proposal to community members.
A beautiful evening taking shape across eastern Kentucky with clear skies and warm temperatures. Let's take a look at it right now from our weather cam up in Whitesburg. What a gorgeous scene. Crystal blue skies, just a few little fair weather cumulus clouds out there, and the sun causing a nice little glare over at Cumberland just across the mountain. You can see just a really nice evening. Big picture satellite and radar shows high pressure in control of our weather for the time being. However, our next storm system is currently organizing across the plains, and it will roll into eastern Kentucky on Friday. So that means one more day of nicer weather before we deal with a little bit of rain on Friday. Temperatures currently in the upper 60s and low 70s. We're going to dip down to the mid 60s right before sunset and eventually head into the mid to low 40s for overnight lows. The bottom line of the forecast, Steve, it's looking much warmer and with several chances of rain. We'll have all those details here in a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Shane. In late February, we told you about a slide that closed the southbound lanes of US 23 in Ivell. Since then, a lot of work has gone into clearing the debris that threatens to fall. WYMT's Connor James shows us all the work that's being done.
A lot of the time when cleanup for these slides happen, the only thing you can really see is basically what I see down here. But there's a lot more that goes into it. Come on, I'll show you.
There's been a great deal of work that's taken place here. Most of it, the public cannot see.
I rode up the side of the mountain with engineer Daryl Sloan to check out the slide's ground zero.
And you just can't see from the ground.
This slide has been an around-the-clock job, monitored by not just the coyotes that frequent the area, but the crews on the ground.
Right.
It's been a long process. First was getting to the slide.
So there was a lot of planning, a lot of work, a lot of supplies had to be gathered for that.
Then began the long process of assessing and starting to clear.
Our next phase in the project is to take care of this large boulder that's next to us.
These boulders are a priority. They need to break them down because the mountain still moves.
We've had some mud come off. We've monitored that. That's one of the reasons why we've had people on the ground.
Now, even rocks that are the size of a chair could do some serious damage. And if there's any movement whatsoever,
they stop traffic during that time.
This slide is by no means a quick fix, but
we've been successful thus far with many things that the general public, isn't aware of.
Crews are doing the best they can to chisel away at it. In Floyd County, Connor James, WYMT Mountain News.
Transportation officials say there are 270 locations where work is needed in KYTC District 12's region. They hope to possibly open one of the southbound lanes in the coming days. Police continue looking for clues in the case of a missing Central Kentucky woman. Tomorrow marks 3 months since Savannah Spurlock was last seen. Investigators searched a second Garrett County home yesterday. They are not saying what they found, if anything. Spurlock disappeared after leaving a Lexington bar with several men. Police have not arrested anyone in the case. A new law will license midwives here in Kentucky. Being a midwife was never illegal, but the industry has not been regulated in Kentucky since 1975. That means pretty much anyone could call themselves a midwife. Senate Bill 84 lays out a framework for home birth and equips certified professional midwives with a license. Advocates hope the new law will improve relationships between doctors and midwives and ultimately benefit future moms.
As a consumer, when I hire a midwife for my home birth, I can ask her if she is licensed. If she is licensed, then I know that she meets a certain standard of care.
The goal is to start issuing licenses in Kentucky by the summer of 2020. The Appalachian Regional Commission announced grants aimed at supporting local responses to the substance abuse epidemic in Kentucky and Ohio. The ARC awarded a more than $1 million grant to West Care in Pikeville. The money will help convert a building into a residential treatment facility for women. Kentucky's governor and Justice Secretary took a trip to Washington, D.C. this week to help continue the First Step Act. It was passed on a federal level in December. The goal is to get low-level federal inmates out of prison and back to work, and those with drug addiction into recovery faster. The federal prison population has surged to the highest in the world. Kentucky has been implementing similar legislation since 2011.
I think there's a moral imperative that we rehabilitate, because more than 95% of all those serving time in state prison somewhere will be coming home. They could be your neighbor, they could be your family member, and we owe them as best a shot as we can give them to reintegrate successfully.
Tonight at 11, hear from a federal inmate from Kentucky who got 10 years knocked off his sentence and is now a successful employee.
Temperatures have been on the increase the last several days, and we're going to be even warmer for the next several. Check it out, 73 Thursday and mid to upper 70s by the weekend. But with the warmer weather comes chances of rain. We'll talk about that here in a few minutes.
And we are less than 24 hours from the start of the spring meet. How Keeneland is getting ready on and off the track.